With all these remasters coming out and old properties receiving new life from their developers, there's one guy that I have in mind that really needs some love, and his name is SLY COOPER. So let's talk about it. What's going on, guys? J.Bandicoot here, back with another video, and today we're talking about SLY COOPER. Yes, the old PlayStation 2 mascot is here, and well, he's not really here, he's here in our thoughts and our prayers and our loves, but, you know, he's here, we're talking about him. So, when I was a kid, I had a PlayStation 2, I was a Sony kid, I loved it, it was... Oh my god. Regardless, I'm getting off track. SLY COOPER was one of my go-to games, the trilogy. You had SLY 1, you had SLY 2, and you had SLY 3, and they were all spectacular games. They're one of those games that really encompasses what a video game really is. Video games have never really had to be realistic to be fun. SLY COOPER was an anthropomorphic raccoon who met a giant hippo and a turtle and formed a gang, and it just so happened that SLY's family had an entire lineage of thieves to go along with this whole mythos. It was really intriguing to see this old wives' tale of raccoons being thieves fleshed out into this entire personality of this world, and this is one of the things that really got me hooked on video games. I loved video games before SLY COOPER, and I'll always love video games, but this series really encompassed to me what a video game needs to be. At its core, a video game needs to be fun, entertaining, beautiful in its own right, and just downright witty and entertaining in that way. Not all video games have to fall into this category, don't make any mistake, but SLY COOPER shone its light to me as the video games that I prefer. But what made SLY COOPER so great? I mean, we're not really here to talk about that, we're just talking about the fact that SLY COOPER needs some love. And this love has been shown to his colleagues. It's been shown to Crash Bandicoot, it's been shown to SpongeBob, Spyro, Medieval, you know, all these remasters coming out of the woodwork. You gotta wonder, what happened to SLY COOPER? And is he even due for a remaster or a new game? So throwing it right out there, remasters. I don't think SLY COOPER quite qualifies for a remaster, and I'll tell you why. I've been getting really pissed off lately about Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 getting remastered, or, you know, video games that aren't even 10 years old receiving remasters. The Last of Us really stood out to me as, this game doesn't need a remaster, you know what I mean? Games like Grand Theft Auto 5 were created for both the last generation and the current generation. They didn't need a remaster. I mean, Grand Theft Auto 5 is over 6 years old at this point. Does that make it, you know, in the whole remaster thoughts pool? No, it doesn't, because the development of the game made it to where it didn't need a remaster. The Last of Us was developed in this console generation, and they still remastered it. And I'm not going to go through all the criteria of remasters, that'll be its own video in itself, but what I'm saying is that SLY COOPER fits into the mold of not too old yet to be remastered, because his games still hold up. When you go back and play the SLY COOPER trilogy, I mean, the first one, kinda, not really, but SLY 2 and SLY 3 have this whole world built around them, this whole graphical interface based around the art style, and this is why I prefer more animated video games and not so much realism. I mean, realism is great, but eventually, and a lot quicker than fantasy, realism is gonna fade out of the limelight and become more dated very quickly. Take GoldenEye 007, for instance. That took a more realistic approach, and sure, the game is very, very... how do I say it? I don't know how to say it. The art style fits the game perfectly, and it's not so much that the art style is great to today's standards, it's a lot of nostalgia, and it's a lot of warm spots from the community concerning GoldenEye's dated graphics. With SLY COOPER and its art style, it doesn't feel dated, it doesn't feel old, it doesn't feel like a retro game that needs remastering badly. Crash Bandicoot, now there's a game that needed remastering badly. It didn't, I mean, it was beautiful for its time, but it was about 20 years old when it got its remaster, so, I mean, you needed that upgrade. What Sly Cooper needs is a new game, and I understand that we got Thieves in Time. We got that a few years ago, it was great. But wouldn't it be fantastic to see a whole new Sly Cooper adventure, or a whole new adventure in the Sly Cooper world? Personally, I'd love to see it, because Sly Cooper is such a unique game aesthetically and gameplay-wise. With all the wacky gadgets and moves that Sly and company have, you can't help but love the game, and you can't help but love its characters, you can't help but love its world. If you've never played it, you don't know what I'm talking about, you need to go play it, but if you have played it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. What I feel Sly Cooper could benefit from is a remake, and usually I'm not a huge fan of remakes, of rebooting an entire series, of ditching all of the established lore acquainted with that series. You know, I'm not usually a huge fan of that, but if it means more Sly Cooper adventures, and if it means a more fleshed out and intricate story, I'm all for it. And the original Sly Cooper story, it was deep for sure, but with today's technology, we could delve so much deeper into it. We could see through the eyes of Sly Cooper as his family gets murdered. We could live through his childhood of the pain and suffering before he met Bentley and Murray. We could see that initial meeting and take part in that very first heist, and we can take part in the journey with Sly in order to learn his history and his heritage. I feel like that would make for a fantastic game. I would love to play it, and I would love even more to play as an adult Sly who maybe, you know, is reliving the events from the past 3 games, or past 4 games, whichever, to make things more cohesive. Personally, I'm a huge fan of a potential Sly Cooper comeback, and we really haven't heard any news from Sly Cooper aside from the movie that was supposed to drop in 2016. Yeah, that's right, there was actually a Sly Cooper movie in development, a trailer dropped, the website is still up, the Facebook page is still up, but all it has, is a poster that says coming in 2016, and it never came. It's a 3-year-old abandoned website, maybe probably even 4 or 5-year-old abandoned website and Facebook page, that I'm not really sure what happened to it. I was so pumped for the Sly Cooper movie, and then as news began to steadily stop and then it just faded away altogether, I completely forgot about it until I remembered, hey, wasn't Sly Cooper supposed to get a movie? And I did all the research that I could, and all that came up was these abandoned social media pages. Sly Cooper needs to come back. I mean, hell, Ratchet and Clank came back, they got their own movie, and their own movie tie-in game that was extremely faithful to the original games. Why can't we do that with Sly Cooper? Because honestly, that would be incredibly amazing. Just to go back to the world of Sly, play through the entirety of maybe his history, at the very least the first 3 games, just redo all of that, and Thieves in Time, because Thieves in Time was awesome too. Not really a fan of that particular art style, but it was what it was, it really didn't piss me off. But Sly Cooper needs some love. That's the bottom line here. But what do you guys think? Do you guys remember playing Sly Cooper, and do you believe he needs to make a resurgence, or did you really not care for the Sly games, or have never played them and don't care one way or the other? Be sure to let me know in the comments below, I'd love to hear your thoughts. And as always guys, thank you so much for watching, it really means the world to me. If you wouldn't mind, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you like what you saw here, as well as the like button and the notification bell to stay updated with the rest of my videos. Thanks guys, and I'll see you all next time.